Beaded collar necklaces make great accessories. Take a look at these. They're so beautiful, and there are a lot of different ways that you can make them. So this clear one is linked together using eye pins and 6mm and 8mm beads. And the silver one is stitched together using beading thread. Now this one is stitched onto a fabric backing, and I'm just going to lift the edge up so that you can see the back there. That it's all stitched onto fabric. And that would be a really beautiful accent piece for a lot of different necklines. And collars, of course, you can wear them a lot of different ways. You can make them a lot of different ways. We often talk about using seed beads to create like a beaded fabric. And this is the same idea using linked pins. So the way that you would start out is you want to plan out your pattern a little bit. You could use graph paper and think about the shapes that you would like the finished structure to be. Then you want to just make a bunch of beaded eye pins. And I tell people this is a really great way to practice your looping technique. Just grab a package of eye pins and your favorite beads and sit down and start looping, and by the end you'll be an expert. So to begin making a loop, what you'll do is string a bead onto an eye pin. Then I just use my fingers to bend the pin against the base of the bead. Now an eye pin, I should mention, is the one that has the loop at the end. A head pin would have a little nail head there. So use your round nose pliers to just roll it back. This is one technique for making a simple loop. Then you would trim. Now I'll show you another technique. You get the same finish, but it's just a little bit different. You bend the pin, and then you trim it to a finger's width. So use your flush cutter, trim off the extra, and then use your round nose pliers to roll it back. So you get the same look, but it's just two different ways of doing it. So you might want to experiment and see which one works best for you. So make a whole pile of these links. And then what you'll do is start linking them together to make a beaded chain. So always turn the loop open to the side and then close it back. And this is using chain nose pliers. You can see I got opposite of myself there, so I just turned it open with the long edge of the pliers and then close it back. And link these together to create the foundation of the necklace. All right, now what you need to do next is make your design motif. And this necklace is made with a snowflake pattern. So, or you could call this a star or a flower. What it is are 5 eye pins linked together onto the end of one of the links. Then, after you have 5 connected, the next one in the pattern has 4 attached to it. So an easy way to do that is open this one, which is the last one on that first little motif, and then string all of the loops onto it. So when you're finished, this really does kind of have the look of a seed beaded piece, but you're using these eye pins to connect it all together. So then you can establish that repeating motif. And see how there's one bead here at the top and one bead that stands out here at the top. This is going to become the part that attaches to the structure of the necklace. So if you take a look at this side, over here, you'll see where the pattern is starting to develop. Here's one of the flower motifs, and see how it's attached to that top line of beads here. So we have one line, and then you start attaching the flowers. Now, to add more structure and create more of that collar shape, you can also add larger beads across here at the bottom. And let's take a look at this picture, because I think it'll be a little bit easier to see on the photograph. So you have your first row here, and these are all linked together. Then see that flower, and then here, and this is the top petal on the flower, and you're just attaching those every other bead all the way around. Now, for the bottom row of the flowers, see how they're linked together? Those 2 bottom petals are linked together with another 6mm bead. And in this collar section, that becomes the top of the last row of flowers. And you can see there that those are a little bigger, using the 8mm beads. Now, the pattern for this is going to be on the website, so you can follow right along when you're making your necklace. Take a look at the blue necklace, because this also is using the same type of pattern. You link the eye pins together, and you can see that floral motif really well. And these are bicone shaped beads. You can see that it really is standing out. Part of the reason is because the jump rings in the middle are linking those floral motifs together. So they're in rows, and you can It's very similar, the idea of it is very similar, but you can see it's a totally different look. And then, of course, what's spectacular about this piece are these dimensional flowers. And for these, you can use all different sizes of beads and colors that work together. I love these little bumpy lampwork beads together with it. And these also using some teardrop shaped beads and rounds to make the flowers, and even paying attention to details like the center of the flowers, layering in acrylic leaves, you can really make that design pop. Now let me show you how to finish the piece. So once you have your collar all built, what you'll want to do is take your chain and connect it to the last link on the necklace. So you would just open your jump ring and then connect your chain to it. And of course, you would attach a clasp to the very end. This also makes it adjustable so that it lays right where you want it with your neckline. So you could fasten this clasp anywhere along the end of the chain.